Okay.
There we go. All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 380 of Pixels and Ink, the official podcast of CG Magazine, where we take a critical eye to gaming, comics, tech, and media. I'm your host today, Chris DeHoog, and I'm joined by a full panel. We've got Brendan Fry, our editor-in-chief, whose sound didn't come through.
Because we muted it.
Hey there.
There we go. Hey,
I'm gonna get fired tonight.
this is the final straw for Dayna Eileen.
Hey, what's up? Don't play
Alex Hansiak, can you join us from the metaverse, please?
Oh, I'm gonna leave the metaverse to join this
Come back
special
to
episode. Okay, recalibrating. Pixels and Ink.
Back in his
Hey, guys.
Following
Alex
the
Hansiak.
G4 TV concept.
Whoa!
And also joining us for the first time in a long time, I think, Khari Taylor.
Okay. Hey, everybody.
Oh, hey.
Good to have you. Throwing up gang signs. Here we
Hey.
go.
Yeah. Hey, man.
Xbox is in the room.
You're my mortal enemy. I see like you've got like a PlayStation hoodie on, right?
By pure coincidence, yes.
And I don't even know which side is.
Yeah, I like how
which.
you were
Still
pointing to
getting
the blank.
My Xbox hoodie's in the other room.
used to- Yeah.
You've got an Oodie.
I'm not wearing the Udi
You
though.
could make Brendan
On
wear
the
the Oodie.
next episode, I got one of those too. We
Yeah.
can do it. We can do an
Yeah,
Udi.
see?
We can do a-
Oodles of Oodies.
Oh my god.
I don't know what an Oodie
You
is.
can have
Why do you have an
theme
Udi?
nights?
Why do you have an Udi, Alex?
'Cause they're
Because I like to be warm.
Okay.
happy.
Although I
Is
will
it an
say,
Xbox Udi?
no, I'm not fancy
Okay.
like you. But it's a thing where like I've worn it to sleep a couple of times, and I woke it up in the morning with it just like thrown across the room, but I don't remember throwing it across the room because it's really warm, right? So it's like,
So
what happened?
wake up in
What
a
happened in
rage.
those hours with the Udi?
You-
So what's an Oodie?
Yeah.
It's like a
Joe.
Oh,
Brendan, Frank out.
we're all hands-on today.
Thank
We're getting the full
God.
demonstrations.
Hmm.
Thank God.
Thank you for joining us, though. We've got a full palette of gaming
They've
games to
all
talk about
already left.
Yeah.
once we've discovered the mystery of the Oodie.
Whoa. Whoa. Like whoa.
yeah, it's the
Like,
metaverse, folks.
whoa.
I just did
Can
it.
you
You
hear
look
us?
very comfortable.
Yeah, no,
That
it's
looks
just-
like a
Oh, my.
Snorlax Kimuriguri, where they
it's
call them.
really warm. It's like really comfy, and it's what you want to be when you're doing a video podcast. It's a good look.
That
That's
is
That's legit.
fair, I guess.
That looks extremely cozy.
I've
though,
made
I
2
gotta-
costume changes already, and we're like 2 minutes in. This is
It's impressive.
I'm gonna
It's a
stop.
big
Take
day.
that, Gaga.
Big
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Oh,
Gaga's got nothing
we're
on Alex.
trendy today. Pop
I don't know.
culture
That's the
reference.
best reference I've got. I don't know. I'm
That's
a
pretty
good.
Anyways,
It is a reference.
It is
getting
interesting.
into this packed palette of gaming hot news here. Top story today: Sony has made a move and is acquiring Bungie for $3.6 billion, the makers of Destiny and former makers of Halo.
Yeah.
So interesting development now that Crash Bandicoot is in Xbox's camp, and Halo's original makers are now in Sony's camp.
Yeah.
What,
Yeah.
what are we thinking about this acquisition here?
I don't know how
Who's
to
gonna go
feel.
first on that one?
It's
Does
hard
it
to
sting?
care. It's hard to care that it's only 3.6 billion, right? We had a
Yeah.
big one last week. It's like
Pocket.
I don't
Is
know.
it sad that that's
Yeah.
not impressive?
That-
Like, ugh.
That's the
That
first
whole-
reaction where it was like, oh, it's like only 3.6 billion dollars. I see that every day, right? It's like
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nothing. Chump change.
Well, you know what I find is interesting about this? Okay, after the Microsoft acquisition, I think Jeff Keighley like tweeted. He had a tweet where basically he had a list of all these other companies. He was saying, "Here's who's left,"
Right.
and right down at the very bottom of this list was Sega for 3.6 billion.
Mhm.
And then this thing happens, and I'm like, Sony could have bought Sega.
I mean,
Right at the same
I
like that
think-
just blow at the same line. Sega and Bungie, like all of Sega versus Bungie and Destiny 2. Like
I mean,
it just
Bungie
blows
is
my
also,
mind that these
it does
small
have the
ones
Myth IP. We can't forget
Yeah.
that amazing Myth
oh
IP.
yeah,
Mhm.
Marathon.
it's good.
Marathon,
Yeah.
there you go. Myth and
And,
Marathon.
and something coming.
That's true.
Something new is in development.
Yeah,
So I guess-
and-
Yeah,
we have to also remember that Sony's already kind of talked about the film and TV rights for all those amazing Destiny series.
yeah. Is that exciting for anyone? Where they're like, oh man, I
Nope.
just really want to see these
Nope.
Destiny
Not at all to
characters
me.
in like a 6th season, maybe a movie. You know,
I mean,
that.
I kind of do. If they get Nathan Fillion back for Cade 6, that'd be amazing.
Yeah,
but,
there you go.
I honestly, I tried to get into Destiny like twice. Once when it, for first time when it launched, and then a few years ago, I think when it came to Game Pass or something, like something spurred me to play it again. I tried, and I just didn't get the lore. That doesn't mean that I don't think that other people shouldn't be crazy about it. I just don't.
I feel it's too deep now for me to dive in. It's just too complex a lore for me to just be like, I'm going to jump in now.
Well, Destiny?
Yeah. There's like 4 expansions now, right?
Oh, for Destiny 2, this is... I lost count, but this is going on since 2017 when they relaunched as Destiny 2. So that's like better, like one big expansion per year at least. So
well, and it's interesting because like Destiny, when it was bought by Activision, really went downhill for a lot of players. They were like, oh, it's a lot worse.
It wasn't bought. It was like
published.
Partnership.
Yeah, and then they had like a weird breakup where like they just kind of let them go. It was just like, oh, you can go do your own thing. And since then, I know some people who play Destiny. They're like, oh, it's gotten a lot better. It's like,
it really has actually. Yeah.
Feels. So I'm wondering if like, hey, we're gonna get another company that's sort of like putting something in the sauce too. Is that gonna? Are we going back to those Activision days, or are they just gonna let it go?
I think Sony is more of a publisher and developer conglomerate. I don't even know what you call it anymore. They are a thing that knows how to nurture the people they work with. If you look at Naughty Dog, you look at Sucker Punch, you look at all the studios, Insomniac, all the studios they've worked with really do bring their A game at all times. I see very few first-party Sony studios that release things that are kind of half done or half baked. They really put their effort into making something that does look good, plays good, and it seems like the management behind Sony cultivates that culture.
Yeah. I think it's a wise decision on their part. Like I'm not excited about it at all, but I think that it certainly makes sense. I think from Sony's point of view, because I think in the short term, like they're trying to I think they're trying to shore up their shooter options, especially considering that like there's a possibility that Call of Duty could go away in a few years. Certainly not immediately, but in a few years.
I think that might lead to our next story, but
yeah, but I think there's sorry, I did not mean to take anything from away from that.
I think the segue if Chris wanted to take it.
No, worries. Go on.
No, I certainly think it's a smart move on their part in multiple ways. Like I think they're thinking of the future. I don't think this is bad. I certainly think that's probably one of the better decisions they've made in a while. Just wish I could get excited for it. I just can't. I don't know. I can't see that far ahead.
Yeah, I mean, like I'm kind of excited by it as a Sony fan and a Destiny 2 player. Like I'm playing it since since the start of the game, basically. Like I got Destiny with my PS4 like a month after it launched, and so I've been on this boat, I guess, for a while. So it's kind of exciting in that way. But yeah,
it's me playing Destiny, and then I got busy.
Yeah, it's the kind of thing like I play when the new season drops. Like I'm really looking forward to the new expansion in this month, and then I'll play it for a little while, and I'll come back, every now and then throughout the season, and I'll kind of taper off, and then just jump back in when the next expansion comes around. But yeah, no, it is interesting though, in that it does seem like a bit of a reaction to buying Activision Blizzard on Microsoft's behalf. But
I mean, like
it takes 5 months to do this, right? Like,
I don't think it's a knee-jerk reaction.
I mean,
it's worked out quite well.
It is possible. The announcement is a knee jerk, like, oh, they bought it. Well, now we're announced that we were buying Bungie.
Yeah, it could have been they were like, we're saving this for a big PlayStation showcase in May or something, and now they're like, well, we can announce it now. It's done. Yeah,
actually, some of the creators at Bungie were like, oh, I found out this morning before they announced it. So like,
that's always great. Yeah.
So I think they were keeping pretty tight, close to the vest, and it's more the fact that this seemed like a good enough time as any, and with especially with their stock dropping, it was kind of like, okay, we need to do something to show that we're not letting this kind of go without kind of striking back.
Well, is this like the beginning? I mean, we're in February now, but it's been 1 month, and we've gotten these three massive acquisitions across.
I'm going to throw it out. I don't think Microsoft's going to buy anything else because they've spent a lot of their war chest on Activision, and with that all tied up, I feel that there's going to be a lot of delays on them purchasing anything else.
I mean,
but
they also
Sony
don't
has,
need to.
Yeah, that's the thing. Sony does have a war chest it can spend, and it has a lot of studios. So if they want right now, if anyone was looking to buy anything, Sony would be the one to kind of do it. So Sega, EA.
Microsoft's out of money.
If you, I mean, Microsoft only has so much to spend in the gaming division. It has to kind of spread that money around. Whereas Sony, its biggest division is the gaming division, or like its high-end cameras and things like that. You know.
Yeah. But I will say, if Microsoft gets the next acquisition, that'll just be like not like a death rattle or anything like that. It's not like, oh my gosh, we got you. But if Microsoft bought Sega, it'd be like, what's Sony doing? They only spent $3.6 billion last week.
But I feel like that's been going on for a while now, and it wasn't until that huge like $68 billion that we were like, okay, they win, and then there's this, and you're like,
yeah, that's like what's it really changed? Yeah, like they're not going anywhere. At least they're not
I feel for the biggest problem with Microsoft buying Sega is the Xbox is still having a hard time getting the head vote in Japan.
Yeah.
And there's still such a big market saturation of the PS5 there and PS4.
Yeah. Right.
And Sega is such, like, they have Atlas, they have Relic, they have Creative Assembly, and they have there's something else they have. But the point is, any of their Japanese development is so focused on the PlayStation platform. Like half the Persona series or the Shin Megami Tensei series is only released on either the Switch or the PlayStation. Yeah. So if they were to buy Sega, the audience is not there. Like, they would be very hard for Microsoft to say, okay, you all have the PlayStation, you know the platforms on that. Yeah. Buy your Xbox to continue the series. People will just be like, I'm just not going to continue the series.
But I think what we're forgetting here, though, is that Microsoft is really not much about. They're not as much about consoles as they were before. They're much more about Game Pass and about securing content.
I know, but the answer is yes. That'd be great to have the new Persona games only on Xbox. But
okay, keep going. Finish the thought.
But if you have it, so if they're exclusive to Xbox. Yeah, they might be on Game Pass, but everyone that would be the majority of people that would play that expect it on PlayStation. So they just won't have the people jumping onto those titles, especially when you have to justify a purchase of a massive studio like Sega.
Okay, all right. So let me just, I agree with you. However, I think what I was mentioning earlier, right, kind of, basically we were talking about a $70 billion acquisition of Activision Blizzard versus a 3.6 billion acquisition for a potential 3.6 billion.
I think Sega would go more for Sega.
They could. They absolutely could, but they would certainly not go for as much as what Activision Blizzard went for. My point, and I think that what Microsoft should be focused on, right, should be about content, right, because that is where they're really going. And I feel that if Microsoft were to buy Sega, there is absolutely no way in hell they're going to try to make it exclusive. They would go the same route that they're going that Sony is going with. It seems to be at least going for the time being, going with Bungie. Sega would maintain its relative independence and so on, because I think what's more important for Xbox is for them to get those titles that they couldn't get before on their platforms elsewhere. Forget about Japan. Japan is lost already. They're not going to get anywhere there. But on the other hand, there are people around the world who would love to be able to play the certain Sega franchises on their Xbox or in the Xbox ecosystem, and they can't, because for some reason there are these invisible exclusive arrangements that exist between Sony and because they're and these other companies simply because they're Japanese, right? I think that Microsoft purchasing Sega could really open things up for everybody else. That's what I'm saying. But I'm not saying that it's going to happen. I'm just saying that that's where I think it should go if they do. The exclusivity is not going to get them anywhere. What would be the point? As you were saying.
Well, I think I would argue I agree with you, but I don't think Microsoft's in a position to buy Sega right now. For lots of reasons. Things you mentioned earlier, but I do think Sony would actually make things interesting if Sony did purchase it, because
that's my nightmare.
The thing is,
I feel like we're taking risk right now.
But Sony,
Sony's going to take over the tiny ones, and then they're going to fight to the death.
Sony is pushing more and more multi-platform. They're pushing for the PC, and they're pushing on
that's the thing.
Like MLB on the Switch now, right?
Yeah, but that's multi-platform. Multi-platform to Sony means our console, PC, maybe Switch. Xbox.
But like MLB is on
always
Xbox.
Been like that.
MLB is on Xbox now.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but only because MLB has forced them in. But MLB has forced them in that situation. It's not.
But my point is, if Sony wants to make sure they don't have any kind of like antitrust things going on.
Yeah.
The best way to do it is say, yeah, we're going to make everything multi-platform. But they'll make exclusive content or maybe add.
They do exclusive launches.
Yeah, exclusive launches. They might have you get it on a PlayStation, you get it maybe it comes free on Plus and it doesn't come free on Xbox. There's
get cool Fortnite skins
on
PlayStation.
Yeah, but there's things
I could love to see it. I just don't see Sony doing it. That's all.
But the thing is, I don't
the
think
Sony that I know would never do it.
But Sony's a different studio now.
Changed, man.
Yeah.
I will say, Jordan's
maybe.
not here this week, and we haven't talked about Nintendo, but it's interesting because Nintendo's whole strategy for 20 years, right, is hey, we got Nintendo games, you want to play them, we're gonna buy Nintendo consoles, right? And so people are talking about oh man, Nintendo's not making any acquisitions. It's just Microsoft and Sony, they're doing their talking. And it's Nintendo's whole thing is exclusive. So it's it almost feels like Microsoft and Sony are catching up to that or trying to get to that point where Nintendo's doesn't have to duke it out right now because they're yo, we got our Marios, we got our Zeldas, we got our Donkey Kongs, and they're only here. So deal with it.
Yeah.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's always been their strength. And even today, they kind of released a statement saying yeah, no, we're focused on quality over buying everything.
Good,
we like to keep things close to the vest.
Yeah.
And that's why they ended up in the position they're in too. Whereas since the 90s, they haven't had to worry about any of this stuff. They just can just stay in their own lane and keep printing money and everything's good to go.
They popped in. They're just hey, we're here. We're good though.
Yeah, stop talking. Yeah, we're not playing Monopoly.
We're good. We got this.
We're not making it right at Park Place or anything.
Okay, I just sorry. You gotta bear with me because you're talking to an old timer who was gaming back when Sega left the business. They left the business and they went into this whole platform agnostic strategy, and it was killing me because I had an Xbox and they were putting out all the games that I really wanted to play. They were putting on consoles I didn't know. Right, and it was even though
I just stopped
Sega
looking at
wasn't
the other consoles. I only play Xbox game on.
Yeah, but anyway, I hope so. I would if Sony were to buy Sega and they were to take a more how do I say
holistic
diplomatic approach to things, that would be great. I just don't believe that they will, but it'd be nice to see.
I feel that
I don't hate Sony. I don't hate PlayStation.
I think right now it's an arms race, and it's a matter of what you have that other people don't have, but also the threats of if you hold X thing hostage, we'll hold X thing hostage.
I don't really agree in that. I
think Microsoft is definitely Xbox is definitely going to hold Call of Duty hostage.
I'm just gonna
ultimately, eventually.
No, but I think
they can, yeah.
It doesn't make sense
for them not to. Something real dumb. Just keep going. I'm just here for comedic relief.
The amount of money that they paid, wouldn't surprise me at all. Why would they not?
But my point is, if Sony has something they need, that's when you start having a back and forth. Say, oh, well, you have Call of Duty hostage. Well, I guess you're not getting the new Persona. You're not getting the new Sonic game. You're not getting the new whatever.
Yeah, but don't they already have Bungie for that? They already have.
But that's one game, or maybe two.
Do that. They could easily change their strategy.
But I think
and say we were saying multi-platform, but in actual fact, multi-platform to us it's a little different from what other people think multi-platform is.
We're gonna bring out a new version of Monopoly, and it's gonna be all the studios and all of our favorite games, and that's how we're gonna win this battle.
And only two people can play.
That.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Only two people can actually play. Everybody else gets $1.
And a third one sits off to the side, not doing anything, just holding on to all their chips.
All
and
I'm
not
gonna
spending
say,
that money.
Women are hated by all. There you go.
The winner in all this is the gamers, the gamers who are looking at the next topic. Right, Chris?
I see what you did there. We've already talked about Activision, Blizzard, and Microsoft, but it was announced today or this week, that to no one's surprise that the acquisition deal will be reviewed by the FTC. But that's pretty standard. We all kind of expected that. For a merger of this size, especially these things have to be checked into. The whole Disney Fox thing comes to mind. It's about the same deal that they had to go through a vetting process.
Or the Warner Brothers Comcast. Was it Warner Brothers Comcast? Yeah,
or all the things AT&T does. Yeah.
Warner Brothers AT&T. That was the one.
Nobody's surprised there. But do we really think this is going to be a problem?
Yes. I think
you think there's a chance of it being held up.
I do think there's a chance of being held up only because of the massive properties at play. And that's what I was alluding to earlier with the talk of exclusivity. If Microsoft's going to be like, oh yeah, these things are definitely going to be Xbox exclusive, or Xbox PC exclusive, you have the problem where it looks like a monopoly. It looks like Microsoft's holding it all for their Windows platform or their Xbox platform. And that's really bad for competition, especially when you have a massive property like Call of Duty or a massive property like
Overwatch.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Or Diablo. Like that's another one that's pretty big. And when you have those level of properties that Microsoft has the threat of making that's only on their platforms, that looks bad, especially for the purchase of almost $70 billion. So I could see them needing to put on paper that these games will always be multi-platform in some way, something like that. And I see that if they don't do something like that, it's going to look really anti-competitive, especially in a marketplace where there is 3 major platforms and the PC. Everyone can kind of get on the PC, so it's not the same thing. Especially because Linux can play a lot of games, and that's not Windows.
And apparently a lot of headphones. I'm still upset about that.
Yeah. So I think it's going to be a lot of legal back and forth. And I think it's going to be a lot of on paper saying these are the things that will happen, these are how it's going to work, and these are how it's going to look for gamers for the next 10 years. And it can't just be a vague, oh, it'll probably stay multi-platform. I think they're going to look at it and say, how are you going to keep things competitive? And if they don't have a good answer, especially because it's going for the STC, but it's also supposed to go through the European Trade Commission. And they're a lot more strict. They're a lot more anti-monopoly there. And they're the ones that made Microsoft take out Edge from Windows when you install Windows in Europe. So it's going to be a little.
Yeah,
so that's why Windows N exists, just because it has no Edge installed. So,
I really need a graphic for that.
Yeah.
So I do see this being a real weird thing, and Microsoft's going to have to do some wheeling and dealing to make sure that they can push this through, just because of the size of the properties they're dealing with.
Should we place bets on how long it's going to take?
I'm guessing a year.
Year?
Maybe longer. It depends how much.
Even with like how messy Activision is right now.
Oh yeah, and you also the fact of the other thing that's going on is the unions. Microsoft does not want to look union busting, but they really don't want those unions in place when they take over the studios.
Yeah,
and it kind of acts like a poison pill right now for Microsoft buying Activision, because if they keep the unions and they say, oh no, we're keeping the unions, that's less useful to them. It means that it's a union studio. It means all the studios are going to want to unionize afterwards.
Right.
If they bust it beforehand and make sure that there's no unions, they look real bad, and it might spur other people in the other studios Microsoft owns to unionize. So that is going to be really hard for Microsoft moving forward. And I don't know how they're going to play it, or because they can say, oh, we're the good guys, you don't need to unionize. But then the people will be like, well, what if if you're good, the union won't have any problems for you.
Yeah. You know, am I the only one who really doesn't want this merger to happen? Like I as much as I'm an Xbox fanboy, but I really don't care about this. Like I feel like other than chasing Call of Duty money, and oh yes, they'll have access to a lot of IPs that they may or may not resurrect. I mean, honestly, I'd be more excited if they were buying everything at Activision, but Call of Duty.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like, because I think the rest of the IPs and content that they have is certainly far more interesting to me than keeping Call of Duty alive. Call of Duty is fated to go the way of the dodo, and so be it. There's other things that will replace it.
And it's like a weird situation where like all these IPs, most of them, like you could play them. I mean, you can't really play like World of Warcraft on console, but you can play it on PC. You can do it. You're playing Call of Duty. You're playing your Overwatch. So and now like, hey, I've been playing these on Xbox, and now I can keep playing them on Xbox. Yay! And then it's also like, and maybe my neighbor who I don't like because he's a Sony guy, it's like he can't play it, so I feel good about myself. Like, it's
that's
like
the only way I live my life. Is that
it's
not
like
how
a
we're
weird.
supposed to do it?
Yeah, I hate my neighbor, so. But yeah, it's like not so much of a big win unless you're thinking big picture, but it's not even like it's like a big win for like Microsoft shareholders, right? And it's like for the average gamer, I don't know if it's like what it's really going to do.
I don't think it's going to do much. Like I don't think The Bethesda purchase, I understood. They bring a lot of people in house. They're bringing those. Even then, sure, whatever. But the Activision purchase, it's a large purchase. Most of the things Activision does to make money don't matter for the Xbox brand. Like King won't do anything for Microsoft, so who cares? Like, yeah, Candy Crush was huge for a while, but I don't really want to play Candy Crush on my Xbox anytime soon, so who cares of that? It does exist, but yeah.
Candy Crush Battle Royale.
Well, mobile is big in Japan. Maybe they feel that's maybe one way back in.
But I don't think Candy Crush is big in Japan.
No, but I mean they can make something else.
Yeah.
Like,
unless they make a weird like gacha game based on anime, I don't think they're going to do much.
And what happens to they're making a brand new IP right now,
yeah.
right? Is that so? That's Activision Blizzard.
That's Activision
Blizzard, not Microsoft at the moment.
Yeah,
right.
But do you think that'll change it all by the time? It's like it takes a minute to make a game, considering they're just hiring people right now.
Well, it's kind of a survival game, which is similar to like Rust or those sort of things.
Yeah,
which are huge.
And I don't really think that genre is going to be big for the next 5 years. It seems like Blizzard's chasing a trend rather than making a trend.
Yeah, I mean, looking at like Valheim, was that last year? Like 2 years ago. Yeah. It's huge, and it's like great. It's like all those people who chase the battle royale after.
Yeah,
and some got
Fortnite
successful.
for one, because it started with PUBG and then Fortnite.
Yeah. I mean, Fortnite chased it, Apex chased it, but the rest are like gone, right? Like they're not. You're not really hanging around. I'm curious. Oh yeah, and then there was the Blazinski game.
Yeah, that was more chasing Overwatch though.
Oh yeah, no, but he did that one, and then they released the battle royale that lasted a week or something.
It lasted like a week. So like it was all like store-bought assets. They're like, it'll be eventually.
Yeah.
Played it is now part of history.
Yeah, I mean it's just gonna be interesting though, because the longer this is delayed with the FTC and that thing, I don't think we're gonna see Activision Blizzard games for a while. Because first of all, we're getting this like from if I'm working at Activision Blizzard, I'm working on Overwatch 2, let's say, I don't really know what my situation is in a year. Let's say the game's not out in a year, and then are they gonna like switch it at Microsoft? Are they gonna let it are they gonna do sweeping changes with it? Are they gonna let them go? And there's just so much uncertainty, and the longer it's delayed, they don't really know what's going on. So it's like I feel like they're in a space right now where they have to like work until they're acquired, but they know that they're already being acquired, but they don't know when it's going to happen. So it's like a weird standstill time.
It's like feeling sad for those people that worked at Target the week that Target was closing. They're like, oh, bad things are happening to you in 5 days.
But can you turn on the fixtures while you're here? Just spend the last few days to take everything down. That'd be great.
Yeah, I don't really know what for gamers this means. Like I don't know if the Activision deal goes through, other than people that really love the Xbox brand over the games they play, because who cares? It doesn't really matter, because most of the things Activision makes right now are multi-platform anyways. Other than the fact that Sony had a deal with Activision where they got some of the stuff first, only because there's more players of Call of Duty on the PlayStation platform over the Xbox platform. That's why Activision made that deal. So I don't really know what this is going to really do, other than the fact Microsoft controls some big IPs, but Activision has let most of its IPs die over the last few years. So the only really big ones are what Blizzard makes and Call of Duty.
Well, there's the potential for them to make great things out of the IPs that are languishing, but
But even then,
but who knows? But who knows who's gonna? I would feel more confident if I knew what studios were actually behind them. Do they have a pedigree? Are they known for making this kind of stuff? Who knows? I don't want another Battletoads. I do not want to see another Battletoads game. Like, dear God, what were they thinking? Right?
Bethesda. I mean, not Bethesda. Activision Blizzard is just so huge, and they have so many employees under them. Where it's not like Microsoft's there, so there's like extra employees, but they're like, I think they're by far the biggest studio now at Microsoft. Or I was looking at a bar graph, a pie chart that made it look like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
I think it dwarfs anything else they have, only because they have a lot of different studios all working on one game. Like I think it's like 7 studios all working on Call of Duty, where no other property in Microsoft's portfolio has more than 1 or 2 working on any one property. Yeah, and even most studios are working on 2 or 3.
Yeah.
So it's weird to see one company coming with so many different development studios in the portfolio that are all working on 1 to 2 games, and that's just weird.
Yeah.
Like you have Beanox, you have Infinity Ward, you have
Toys for Bob.
Choice for Bob.
Yeah.
And then you have Treyarch, Raven. The list goes on, and they're all working on one game, and that's insane.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Actually, I was thinking earlier when you were mentioning all the legal loopholes they're going to jump through.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to explain gaming to lawmakers and the FTC people who aren't necessarily in touch with that whole industry. Like the legal industry has famously underestimated and understood or misunderstood the gaming industry. So that could be a big obstacle in itself, just trying to make them understand what exactly this deal means and what multi-platform means to people.
What also could mean, much like the Disney deal with Fox, part of the company is going to have to be broken up. So they might say, "Oh, you already have a game like that might be competing with this game. You're going to have to sell off that one studio to take over."
Yeah.
Like they only make one game anyway, so it's like that's no loss to lose Treyarch necessarily.
Well, they might claim Call of Duty is too similar to Halo because they don't understand how it works. And like, you have to get rid of that shooter because you can only have one shooter in the thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I never even thought about that.
You know, but I mean, another thing that makes me, or that I constantly wonder about with this merger, right, is this like Game Pass, right? According to all the people that I listen to online, on the podcast and so on, they say that Game Pass is one of the greatest deals in gaming. I would tend to agree about that. But that said, isn't there a point where this is going to become unsustainable? Like where it might already be unsustainable as it is, and then you bring in this purchase, and now basically it has to support all the Call of Duty studios as well.
Now I could be wrong.
How much? The price is going to go up, right? And for what?
I don't know. Netflix just went up, and I'm gonna be.
And that's what I was going to bring up. The fact that
$22 a month in Canada now.
Well, my point is, you look at Netflix. Netflix has been in the red.
Oh yeah.
You're talking about 4K.
We're killing Brendan.
Yeah. I got 4 accounts on it.
Mine's
Anyway, Brendan.
Sorry, Brendan.
Anyways, if you look at Netflix's financials, they've been in the red since they've started, and the growth has stopped.
Right.
And you're going to have the same problem with Game Pass. Yes, there's more people buying PlayStation Plus right now, et cetera, but they have to have constant growth to support Game Pass working. Right. And eventually it's going to get to a point when they reach negative growth, where people just don't want to pay for it anymore. They don't need that amount of games. And at that point, they're going to have to start raising the prices to fluctuate, kind of level it out for investors.
That plays into what I was going to say, though, because I think, if I'm not mistaken, Xbox right now just got into a little bit of trouble, or is having to revamp the way they do things, because they were just letting people resubscribe when they didn't want to. They were just sorry, we took your money.
EU again, where the EU is like, you can't force people to resubscribe automatically. You have to tell them, you have to check it out.
Right.
Yeah.
And I feel that's going to start leading to Microsoft having to
all of this free money that do you know how many random subscriptions I have? Like, I have something that went onto my credit card the other day that's like $4. I'm like, I remember doing that, but I have no idea what it was. And I feel that now that Xbox is no longer allowed to play that game in some places, they might be eating it soon.
And I feel that that's going to lead to Game Pass going up in price.
Yeah.
And after a certain point, when is it like, something, I'll just buy that one game I play a month.
But think about it. How many, we're all gamers here. How many games, like full price, $80, $90 games, do you think you normally buy in a, say, 2-month period?
One
for you?
Yeah.
What about
in a 2-month period?
Say in a 2-month period. Like, how often does a new game come out that you want? Would you?
I don't want to incriminate myself now here.
See, and that's why, like, Brendan, you're not into like big mainstream games.
Yeah.
Whereas
but the Game Pass doesn't have a lot of those day one.
But
release.
they do now.
They're starting.
So
having
my thought
Halo.
is, I would pay $80 maybe every 2 months. $40, $50 a month. If those games were there.
But then again, you're not keeping those games. Like, the point is, if you buy
exactly. I'm not going to pay $80 and I can't keep the game.
Yeah, that's the problem. And right now, Game Pass, it's a great deal at like $15, $20 because it gives you a library. It gives you like $16, $17 or something like that.
Yeah.
But my point is,
like right now, it's the BMG music club of gaming, basically. Like, you get to trial this stuff that's the way I see it, anyways, as a casual Xbox player, is that like I get to trial these things. Halo came out. I'm not too keen on buying the whole thing.
Yeah.
Oh, I can play it day one. Okay, I'll check it out on Game Pass.
Right.
And I'm using it to play all the little indie games that I would never ever buy because I usually don't think I care.
The funny thing is that I'm of two minds of it, because I mean, I guess we'll probably get to this when we're talking about what we're playing, but since Halo Infinite came out, and I don't actually own the game, but I have been diving into the multiplayer every week. I've spent money on the multiplayer, on the multiplayer, and a little bit on the cosmetics, because I just figured,
the cat ears?
Hey, I didn't play. No, I did not have the cat ears.
Oh man!
But I feel like, well, I didn't pay for the game, right? It's on it's part of my Game Pass subscription. So yeah, I'm going to throw them a few bucks. This game is a great game. I'm going to throw them a few bucks and at least show that I appreciate that they made this game. There are other games that on Game Pass that I've actually bought because I simply don't want them to go away when they leave Game Pass or whatever. I own all the Yakuza games now digitally because I don't want to see them go away. Because I intend to finish every single one of them someday. So there's that. But on the other side, sometimes I feel like there's so much coming to Game Pass. I don't understand how I'm supposed to how am I supposed to play all this stuff?
My biggest thing for Game Pass is
so much.
My biggest thing with Game Pass is it doesn't give you a clear definition of how long those things are staying. So you have oh, this new game from Sega is coming, or this new game from
Activision coming to see what's leaving Game Pass.
But you also
Netflix doesn't do that either.
So but you have like a game and you're like, oh, I love this game, I really want to try it, and it just like, oh no, this month is going away. And you're like, I've already played it almost all the way through, do I now buy it, or do I say screw it and just kind of say that I'm never finishing that game? I mean, that's going to be a lot of people's,
or buy it at the 20%, buy it at the 20% discount. Right, because while it's still in there, you still get the 20% discount.
That's a good
Optimal
point.
Push makes a good point. Through Game Pass, he was able to try a bunch of games and pick them up in that way. And not everybody's going to do that, but it is great. Now, that's not Xbox being sustainable necessarily. That's supporting each individual game.
Do you guys?
It's something.
Well, Game Pass is Xbox, to be honest.
No, the Game Pass is, but buying the games once you've tried.
Microsoft does get a
okay, I guess so.
Do you guys pay the full price for Game Pass?
I've started to because they stopped doing the sales. I used to buy. I used to stack the memberships, right, and just buy a year in advance. And so every year, but now they don't do the sale. I figured, well, I'll wait until some opportunity comes up, and I'll just pay the regular price for now. There is, I'm sorry, my cord's too short. There is apparently a way that you can actually save money on Game Pass if you basically let it expire, and then essentially wait for a sale on Xbox Live, right? Purchase 3 years of that, right, and then upgrade that via the dollar deal that Microsoft's always offering that's still out there to get to, and it upgrades to 3 years of Game Pass Ultimate. Apparently it works. I'm not sure if I want to risk it, but you can do it.
And you don't even have to lock yourself in for 3 years. Like
I just do it because that's the maximum you can do.
That's right.
I don't want to think about it for 3 years.
That is commitment.
But like
hey,
every
I've
time
been with Xbox since the beginning, so
that's fair.
So I got there like 3 months, and it was like, I don't know, it was like $5 or something. It was the deal, right? And then I let it expire, and then like a week later, they're like, "Want to try it again for another month for 99 cents?" And I'm like, "Yes, I do." So then I did it again, and then I let it expire, and then 2 weeks later, they're still doing like when
I'm telling you, I do that with HelloFresh.
Like seriously, like let your.
But then you have to take that little break, though. You have to have that week.
Go see your family. Go outside. I don't know.
Is Microsoft going to change? You're thinking there's that little gap where it's like, is Microsoft going to change that policy? And did I just screw myself?
Well, I don't know. And if
I feel like a bad girlfriend storming out and saying, "You have to chase me."
Yeah,
I've changed. I'm $1 again. See?
Well, I know this is going to sound dumb, but when Xbox One launched, right? I remember there were certain people that were getting this random Xbox Live members who basically got like free games and free stuff in the mail because their account had been open since the very beginning of Xbox Live. But for those of us who started late, who come in a little bit later, or maybe they had an issue with Microsoft's like
they were children
policy or whatever, or their account, but for one reason or another, their account stopped and then started again. Those people all got screwed. So when I think about doing that taking advantage of that deal. I keep thinking, but what am I going to miss out on? What am I going to miss?
What if they give me a prize later? I
Man.
want a trophy. All right.
So,
what else do we have?
Yeah. Moving on.
I was about to say that we've spent a lot of time talking about Sony and Microsoft, but we'd be remiss if we didn't air some Nintendo dirty laundry as well.
Ooh.
Because
besides
this week,
the "Hey, we're good" comment.
Yeah, no, that was noble and well phrased of them. I think to say like, hey, we're not just leave us out of your little fantasy football discussions here. We're not buying anything right now. But while everyone else is up snapping up properties and studios, Nintendo is instead continuing to strike copyright infringements on YouTube. This week they hit a staggering 2200. I can't do numbers. 2200 copyright strikes on one single channel, Gilva Sunner, this week, essentially making him shutter his account. He has a bit of a history with them. They started striking his content in December 2019, and then again back in December 2020. Hit him last week for 1,300 infringements, and now again with like this huge staggering amount. So yeah, Nintendo is fiercely defensive of its copyrights, and people are not happy about that. What do you guys think?
So what is he doing with it? Like I haven't quite understood what's happening here.
So he basically just posts the soundtrack so that they're available to listen to on YouTube. So you type in
Super
Mario Sunshine.
Okay, so it's not like he was, doing their stuff in a stream and everybody attacked them. He was just like, "Here, take this."
Yeah.
Same idea, I suppose. Yeah. If it was in a stream, it'd probably be just Twitch strikes instead of YouTube strikes.
Yeah.
But
YouTube does the streaming.
Yeah. I like the strategy by Nintendo. Like, don't ban everyone, but ban one person. Like, one week, go after one person. Like you're next on the Nintendo hit list, then like your career is over. Blah, 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 blah.
See, Alex, you know how to be a parent. Just take one kid down, and then they'll all.
Yeah, and the rest will fall in line. The rest will be like,
example.
I don't want my account to do it. And then Xbox would be like, "We'll give you Game Pass for 99 cents for 1 month." And then it's like, well, okay, good stuff. That's just so strange that it's just like. I mean, yeah, he has the past stuff, so but just like the headline of like, yeah, this guy got like 2,200 copyright strikes this week. It's like
he's got a history though. You had to see this coming.
Mm-hmm. like how many strikes? Like,
yeah,
starting 2 years ago. Like, come on, man. Like he had to see this coming.
Yeah, it's not like it was Tuesday and then.
Yeah. And like a week ago.
I don't know how big he is, but like he's in the news now at least. So whatever he does next, I feel like it might be a good opportunity for him to have like a following where it's like, oh, you're the guy who got 2,200 copyright strikes against you. Nice.
I mean,
you're so badass.
Yeah. Ooh, start streaming Microsoft games or something. Like you can't obviously stream Nintendo games because that's a little too close to home. But
I don't know.
What happened?
Sorry, nothing. We're
Was
just
there like a sound issue?
Yeah. No. Some news. I wasn't sure if we should bring it up or not.
Oh, okay.
Breaking news.
Give me it and don't just hold it like that. Go amongst yourselves. Our stream was over top of it, so I couldn't read it.
Yeah, I mean, people love to give Nintendo crap for copyright strikes and for protecting their IPs like this and striking down tournaments and all this stuff. At the same time, like they're well within their rights to. I mean, is it the best thing to do? Is it the best image? No, but it's within their rights, and
Can't they just put their music on Spotify, like or something? Like I wonder why there's always seems to be like with Nintendo there always seems to be like this iron grip that they've
and
always.
We just discussed earlier with games. We're like, and it works. Good for them. So
if even one kid,
I'm not saying that it's not their right. I just wonder about their.
I mean, like if one kid listens to Super Mario on Spotify, Nintendo will crumble. So they just can't do it. They'll go bankrupt. Like they'll get acquired by Microsoft, and then like no, we can't.
For 99 cents. It's like a whole thing.
Can't go through it.
Brendan has some big news that just came out, but we have to be careful what we say about it.
Ghostwire Tokyo has a release date, and it is March 25th, 2022.
Ooh.
And just in case anyone, just in regards to our earlier conversation, it will be coming to PS5. Just in case anyone was wondering.
Wow! What a shock!
So they literally just dropped the date today.
Yeah, just
now.
Just like now. Literally
That was me attempting to read it in front of you all.
That's literally they had a PlayStation blog on it, and they still didn't mention it even there. Okay,
no.
But all right.
We have to make announcements at 9:47 p.m. Eastern time.
You know how some podcasts like have announcements come after? We're like perfect timing. So
yeah.
Good job, guys. Oof.
We did it. High fives. Yeah. No, okay.
So that's good. As
an exclusive then.
So that means that I'll basically on the 20th. You said it was the 22nd, right?
Wait. I'm going to double check. 25th.
The 25th
March.
Great. So basically, I have until the 25th in 2023 to play the damn game. Because I won't be able to play it until then.
Boo. There you go. All right, Chris, you can have the reins back. Sorry.
Yeah, no. Right. Breaking news. Yeah, actually, I want to throw it back to you, actually, Dayna, because this is something that I know you were pretty excited about. Huawei's FreeBuds lipstick is now available in Canada. Why don't you remind us a little about that one?
Go get it. It's here. It's in the kitchen.
Can you listen with
open.
it? Does it
no,
make music?
I'm very glad you have the product in hand, though.
It's like playing glasses with your Okay. We're going to awkwardly. Oh, no. Brendan's going to open it while I talk. Yeah, this is part of what I got to go to Austria for way back in the day. I podcasted from Austria. They are questionable. I love Huawei. I am very good friends with Huawei because I like their products. However, this one makes me feel look, we're unboxing, guys. It's our first unboxing. I'm gonna rip this paper though. Because I am. All right. So these actually look pretty slick. And I thought I was gonna hate them because I hate the way that they're branded and the way they're marketed. I am a girl and I've put on lipstick a couple times tonight, but I don't need everything I own to look like lipstick. But these are them. They now have my fingerprints on them. They're actually pretty slick. I don't know if you can see it says Huawei right there. We're going to open this up. And there's your lipstick.
So are those buds?
They are.
And do they like come off or?
Oh, okay. That's pretty neat.
And then this is magnetic back together. And it's like weighty. You want to play with it?
Add some weight to it. It does look like a lipstick container.
Yeah.
So it's those are headphones though. Those are not.
They are indeed.
Things.
No.
And it's just in a lipstick container.
They are indeed.
It's like don't.
Yeah, like try to take.
Don't mix them up in the morning.
Don't
mix them up in the morning.
Pop the other end off and just like actual lipstick. Yeah.
They're trying
it's
to.
very James Bond. Yeah.
It's a cool color.
Yeah. But yeah, they're something. I don't know how I'm gonna feel about this, but these are my new toy. They're mine. That's why I just shoved them in my ear.
Well, they are now.
This is one of my next reviews. But yeah, they just announced the Canadian release date that I don't know because I'm not looking at the news article right now.
Yeah, they're pre-orderable for February 8th.
And I think you get something extra with it if you pre-order.
You get latency. No.
A bunch of paper.
I don't know what you get, but they are $348. These are premium.
Whoa, that is really expensive.
Because
I did tell you I wanted the next expensive pair, didn't I?
The other FreeBuds I thought were like maybe like $200, maybe a bit cheaper. Yeah. So I'm not sure if internally they're like that much nicer.
Guys know, since we've got a bunch of gentlemen here, you know the pink tax. Are you guys aware of what that is?
Yeah, it's at least it's $150 at least. That's crazy.
Yeah. This is our pink tax because this is marketed to women.
That's wild.
That's bonkers.
They are definitely going to be more expensive because they're marketed to women. But actually,
I'm wondering if they changed the interior at all, or they were just like, no, put it in a case or something.
We'll find out, I guess.
Yeah, I'm excited to read this review. So
yeah, it's good. It's weighty, but actually, when we were in Austria looking at them, I keep almost saying Australia. I thought I was going to hate it. Like we knew what it was called beforehand, and I was really, really mad about it for a while. And then I saw them, and I went, "Damn it, I kind of want them." Not because, like, I wish they were just called something else. I don't mind that they look this way. Like, I probably would have been like, "Oh, that's kind of neat," but my thought were a lot of men are going to go buy a lipstick.
Yeah.
Right? Like that's immediately going to alienate a chunk. But the guys there were like, no, actually, those look pretty cool. I bet.
We might not talk about what they look really sleek, like the packaging.
Yeah, they are. They are. And
it's James Bondian.
There, our first unboxing.
Wow.
Just waiting for the next 007 movie where Q hands.
I need to listen.
Here's your gun hidden in a lipstick container.
Yeah.
Also, there's earbuds in the other end. Go nuts. Speaking of actually,
there's the charger. Just found it.
Speaking of the pink text and things designed for gamer girls,
That's me.
Tell us how you feel about the Xbox OPI crossover.
Kind of confused.
Oh, you mean the controllers? Those
the
controllers
and the nail polish.
The nail polish themed controllers.
Entire nail polish line to go with Xbox Game Pass games.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's weird.
Do you guys want to ask me what women really want? It's definitely nail polish
Master Chief.
After. Yeah, I think
Master Chief.
Yeah, like what world did someone think this is okay? Like,
or the car from Forza? Okay. Wow.
Like, I just there, Alex has all the information. I'm just here to be mad for a minute.
Oh, God.
And to be clear, I'm a girly girl. I love nail polish. I love like fun. Every time we get a fun colored controller, Brendan's like, "Do you want it?" And I do. But I don't get this.
Mm-hmm.
It's a little offensive, and I don't get offended easily. Go ahead, Alex. You look excited about a name.
No, so it's the classic like buy a real product, get a code. So you get an exclusive car in Forza if you buy $20 worth of the collection, and the other thing you can do is if you buy it on Amazon, you get a Halo Infinite skin when you spend $20 or more. So
there you go.
That's really
Curious
dumb.
what that skin is then, yeah.
It's pretty
Is it
nice.
all pink?
Chris
No,
is gonna go shopping for his
like
wife.
it's like a blue purpley like a starry thing. It's
trying
really
to
nice.
get to the page.
The colors are really pretty.
Yeah.
It should be on the front page. The colors are pretty. I believe there's some sort of you can get a controller that matches your nails if you win a contest or something along those lines.
Or Halo Infinite exclusive armor coating.
Yes, that's
like,
yeah.
Yeah, you know what? I mean, I don't mind the color, to be honest with you, but I'm not going to buy lipstick for that. No.
No, this is nail polish.
$20.
This is the lipstick. That's the nail polish.
It's very simple.
Member berries. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a whole feeling, and like, I don't know. Like I said, I'm a bad feminist sometimes. I run right for the dumb girly stuff, but I don't like it. I am a gamer girl, and I don't need everything to be pink. I don't need everything to be shiny and sparkly. You know, it's just what it is.
That is one sparkly Spartan armor there.
There you go.
Genuinely,
sometimes I do need sparkles, but I feel like it doesn't have to be just.
I really do kind of dig it.
So, like, I genuinely want that armor, but it is U.S. only, so you can't even do it. And to do it,
Canadian women are screwed too.
Yeah, no, always. But you need to buy it off Amazon, and you need to screen grab your Amazon invoice number, visit this other website, post it there, wait 48 hours.
You did like a lot of
that is so weird.
Yeah,
I don't know. But I will say this skin is going to be one of the rarest ones in Halo, and when I see it, I'll be like, "That's really cool," and I wish I had it.
Yeah,
and it's going to really stand out because everyone plays like basic gray skins in that game right now. So
yeah, I mean, you got to.
But is that good? Do you want to stand out? Do you want to be like stealthy?
Especially with the cosmetic, like being able to buy a lot of these cosmetics, right? Like now, when I jump into a game of Halo Infinite and you see someone in a flashy outfit, right? It doesn't mean anything anime. It doesn't mean that they earned it. Like you're like, oh my God, I better watch out for this guy. He must have played thousands of hours. It's like, no, he went on the store and he bought like the latest promo suit that they had or whatever. It means nothing. Meanwhile, when you see a sparkly Halo armor like this,
you know that they bought $20 worth of nail polish on Amazon.
You know that they live in the U.S. You know they took that picture of their like receipt. It's like
this is becoming unsafe now. I now know where they live.
Yeah, right. But if anybody's listening from the US, I genuinely would like it. So maybe we can figure it out.
Get at us in the chat. Yeah.
Like they're not offering bad things. They're not like, I don't hate the nail polish. I don't hate the feminine controllers. I don't know. Maybe
like
I'm just mad.
Sony's offering customization options to match your controller to your PS5 skins, like your console covers. Xbox is like, oh, hey, your hands can match the controllers now. That's anyone into that?
I'll just wear black gloves and then I'll be fine.
Well, there you go.
I'm good.
It just seems like a bit of a relic of like early 2000s, like, you know, guys, girls game too.
Yeah.
Well, I said that. I think
to
I
prove
said that
it,
in my...
we'll sell expensive nail polish.
Hey.
I'm one of the few girls that does tech at CGM, and I get all the pink crap. Not because I have to, but because, I mean, why not? But that's how companies market to us. Like,
Yeah.
I don't like baby pink. I like hot pink, just so we're clear. And I've got the full Razor Quartz baby pink set. I've got the
nice
HyperX baby pink thing. Like, just I like other things. Just saying.
I'm trying to find how much a bottle of this polish costs. Actually, like you say,
That's like studio grade polish. So like if you go to a salon and get your nails done, that is a brand that they use. There's actually, I believe, a chunk of the line that you can only buy through salons.
Really? So when they say buy $20 worth of polish to get the Master Chief skin or whatever, like that's probably
maybe
2 bottles.
3 max.
No, it says here, purchase $20 worth of OP Xbox Collection products. So it's not like they're expecting you to buy like a really expensive thing. Right, but I mean, I don't know. I guess it all depends on how expensive you think nail polish should be. But $20 US, $20 US. Yeah, this says $20 US, I guess. So I'm thinking, okay, like if it's something that you're gonna do anyway, why not? It's like I got the Chips Ahoy skin, right? Which is absolutely ridiculous. It's like when I run around in that
but
thing,
at least cookies.
I literally look like one of those rainbow rainbow Smarties. Like it's essentially. And it's funny is that I got it before the game. This is before the Halo was delayed by a year, right? And that promo was on, and the picture that they sent me of the armor was like this bluish outfit with some hints of like orange in there, yellow, and hints of orange and yellow here and there. But the actual suit I got a year later was like brilliant orange and and with smarty red, smarty blue pieces. And
that happens in Fortnite a lot too.
I literally tweeted a photo to them. I said, like, what the hell happened, guys?
The game was delayed.
You've changed.
But hardly
that happens in Fortnite
suit,
a lot
so,
too.
hey.
You get like PlayStation gets exclusive skins, and I have my account set up through PlayStation, even though I'm an Xbox player, so I can go on and get them every once in a while. There's skins there that were only available in season 1. So like when you look at them, you do know that. But then there's also, I bought Ariana Grande. I didn't, but you know what I mean? So
that's actually a good point, Khari. That if you're gonna be buying that stuff anyways, if you're a gamer who likes nail polish more than we're kind of ragging on it a little bit, but there is a crossover.
with you.
I bought Rockstars that had the Halo Infinite thing to get the friggin' black and gold armor coating or whatever.
The Jeep? Did you get the Jeep?
And the gun, color? Yeah.
Like that I'm jealous of because you see the Jeep, you see that color when you're running around in big team battle and you're like, what the hell?
Like that gold.
Looks cool. It's
badass,
gold.
Yeah. I feel a little embarrassed actually about it because I'm like, I bought a lot of Rockstar to get this. It's kind of sad in a way, but
As long as you
speaking
drank
of Halo, well, I did actually, but that's another story. December was a rough month. Anyways, Speaking of Master Chief, we got a new trailer for the Halo series this week.
Yes,
it's a good thing we have the big Xbox fan here. How'd you feel about that, Khari?
You know what's so funny? I was so busy with Dying Light, I didn't even I barely even looked at it.
Are you jazzed for the series?
You know what? We've already seen this. This has happened twice before, so I'm already in some form or another, and they were not good. I will say that it looks better than anything that I've seen before. I'm literally side-eyeing it right now as I talk to you.
Give us your thoughts.
And what was it? Porn Stash? Was it Porn Stash is Master Chief? So I'm like, I guess.
I'm so happy you know that.
I'm interested to see how he vocalizes the Chief, but I am actually not. I mean, I'm literally getting. I'm one of those people that when I see something that I'm excited about or I'm interested in, I usually go radio silent. If I don't have to actually watch it. I probably should have watched the trailer, but I just got so caught up with other things. But it looks really good. I'm actually really impressed as far as how it looks. But I didn't read the books or any of that. I'm basically a Halo fan of the games. I'm not a Halo fan of the lore, right? Beyond what they already presented.
Right now, so there's that. Did not know that I didn't know it was books.
They came out with tie-in books. Yeah, there's a bunch of stuff, but they also started retconning themselves with it too. So
there was that one really awesome this is taking me really. This is back when I was working for another outlet, 2 outlets ago. But I remember when they had the Halo version of the Animatrix. It was that compilation of short stories, and that probably taught me more about Halo's lore than anything that I saw outside of the games, and that was actually pretty cool. There were some stories in there that were real. That weren't just like oh well, let's just try an anime. Let's see what if we mix Gundam with Halo. What do we get? Like there were actual stories that related to the lore and explained the whole thing with the Forerunners and whatever they're called. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. And, yeah, I'm excited for this. They say that it's going to be on what streaming platforms? Like, is it
Paramount Plus?
Paramount Plus. Oh,
does that?
okay.
Like, I've seen stuff from Paramount Plus, and I've never watched Paramount
Crave
Plus. So where does that go? Like, where are we really going to watch it?
Crave is a weird entity. Yeah.
Yeah, Crave I think gets a lot of stuff that isn't like fully here.
Where are we going to watch it?
But maybe Xbox is going to have something weird. Who knows? But I do.
Yeah, that would make sense for them to have like promotions, like, hey, here's a free month of Paramount. Go watch Halo and talk about how good it is.
Yeah, that would be a good idea. Because I certainly don't plan on buying it otherwise. Playing it otherwise.
There's a side of the internet right now that is upset with the trailer because it focused on more than just Master Chief and actually showed other characters, like a woman. Yeah. And there's a group of Xbox fans.
Cortana, right?
Others. No, not Cortana. No. I mean, I'm sure that was a thing that people were like,
why is
Cortana wearing clothing?
Yeah. People going to push back on her design, I guess, too.
But I know there was the main woman that was shown in the trailer. A lot of the Halo fandom that is vocal. Let's be clear, it's probably a very small minority that is vocal.
The bad ones.
But they're all upset at the fact that there's more people talking and actually having roles than Master Chief, and it's supposed to be Master Chief's thing, not this woke future.
That sounds like a really boring movie. We saw it. It was Castaway, and there
were aliens in this thing. No idea.
No idea.
The Elites. You mean the
I don't know, Halo.
The Covenant.
I just play the multiplayer. We just get Master Chief on Master Chief action.
Yeah.
It's teabagging.
Yeah.
I don't look as far as I see it, right? Halo stars a character that we never see their face, and that is a big problem with a lot of these characters. You'll notice that usually when they make a movie of them, they usually bend the knee and end up basing it around a famous movie star or whatever, and they show him without his mask on. So I think that in terms of Halo, it's like I think that people should maybe calm the F down because really, Master Chief needs support, especially when you're watching him in a medium where it's not interactive and you're not getting to be Master Chief yourself. So I'm not surprised that there are other characters that are going to be that are prominently going to appear. I think that should be an expectation.
What? A rational gamer? Get out of here.
But I mean, even as I was watching the trailer in the office, I was saying, Master Chief is supposed to be kind of a proxy for the player. Right. And that's why you don't see his face. That's why his name is John, the most generic name humanly possible. It's supposed to be, that's your avatar. Don't worry about it. It's fine.
Don't worry about it. It's
exactly.
fine.
You don't see his face. He's just like, he's a Spartan, even though every other Spartan in the universe takes off their helmet. There's regular people. Not Master Chief.
What is with that?
What is about real smelling in there? Who knows?
Let's start doing that around the office.
Before, I used to think like the reason why he doesn't take his mask off is probably because he's been in there so long that no one wants to see his face now. Like probably,
it's funky.
Pallid. His skin hasn't seen the sunlight in like decades, and so
it's got to get humid in there so he actually looks like a prune.
Yeah, but then you see like you get the Halo 5 Guardians, and like you got like darn, I forgot his name all of a sudden. Buck.
Locke?
One of my favorite actors. Not Locke. No, not Locke. From Firefly.
Nathan Fillion.
Nathan Fillion, right?
Was that ODST?
No. He was in ODST as well. But in Halo 5, he's become a Spartan.
Okay, but my point is, you see his face. He just looks like a person.
You see their faces, and you're like, well, dude. Oh, except that you'll notice that blue team, which is Master Chief's group, they never take the mask off. None of them. And it's so weird.
Blue team.
Because you have to be part of the cool kids.
Yeah, exactly.
So they're the sect of Mandalorians who never take their helmet off.
What I'm understanding is that Master Chief is a little judgy and no one's free to be themselves.
Yeah.
This is a toxic work in there.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Well, or to come back to it too, like if they'd gone the other way and he started talking a whole lot, taking his helmet off, it'd be the Book of Boba Fett all over again. People would be like, "Oh, he's not supposed to talk this much. This isn't my Master Chief." Like, so there's no good way to do it, and they picked the best
Deadpool
storytelling.
style, where he's just like narrating the whole time.
Yeah,
my point is, it'd be very boring to watch. Like Master Chief, as Master Chief is in the games, would be very boring to watch in a mainstream like TV show.
I think so, yeah.
You're like, okay, he's walking around
watching like Blair Witch Project, just like. You don't get to see him. You just see what he's doing.
I mean, I'm not saying that it can't happen. It's just that it's very difficult to write a character that is that convincing when you can't see their face. You don't see those things. So I mean, I would think that if the series is successful, then certainly there will be episodes that exclusively star Master Chief and Cortana. I would think that they would do something like that once they get a feel for what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah.
But I don't think that we should expect that Chief should shoulder the entire freaking world of Halo.
Yeah,
it's just not going to work. Like they need to have supported characters.
But even in the games, there's some massive actors that kind of go along with Master Chief. You have Keith David in there,
right?
You have who you just mentioned in the Nathan Fillion, and the list goes on and on from there. Like there's a lot of major actors in these series, even back all the way to Halo 2 and 3. So I don't know what these people are upset about, the fact that there's more than just Master Chief, because the series has always been kind of an ensemble, with only Master Chief being kind of the avatar for you, with everyone else being kind of the people that bring the character to the universe. If Master Chief was alone, it would be very boring.
I'm bored with gamers being mad about stuff.
Yeah,
and although I was just mad about stuff, so.
Yeah. And then the name of the show is Halo, not Master Chief, right? So
more
Master
Halo.
Chief is Master Chief and the Halo album.
The theme song.
I'm
really good joke.
The Halo show.
Yeah.
Oh God.
On that global singing segue. Let's hop over into a reviews and impressions segment. And Khari, you have the big one this week. For a game that comes out tomorrow.
Yeah.
No, it's technically out now.
I suppose.
Oh, is it midnight?
Okay, Australia.
No, Dying Light. Is this what we're talking about? Spoiler.
Yeah, I think so.
I got a big thing. It's live now. It's been going live all day in different places.
Here in like Eastern time zone.
What am I doing here?
There's a map. There's a map with a bunch of times.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. What do you want to know?
Tell us about it. Yeah.
Well, all right. I really enjoyed my time with it. With Dying Light 2. I was a big fan of Dying Light 1, even though I did not actually play a lot of that extra content that they just kept releasing in the years that followed. But I think that this game does exactly what you would expect a sequel to do. It takes everything that worked about the previous game, but it also ups the ante and expands upon a lot of the stuff that works, like the city, as they call it. The game just takes place in some place that used to be called Villador, and is now just known as the city, because it is one of the only cities left standing, or believed to have been left standing after the zombie apocalypse has basically taken over the world. And it's rather depressing stuff. It's a pretty serious,
cheerful story so far.
Yeah, it's got a serious tone to it, but I love how it's kind of like taken the lore that it had and it's expanded on it. There's a new day-night cycle that truly encourages you now. The way that the mechanics work in the game, you're encouraged to actually go out and do things at night, which is the scariest time to play the game, because you've got like the more powerful zombies around on the streets.
Is it an I'm going to throw things kind of game?
Sure.
Is that what I'm understanding?
To throw things?
Am I going to throw things if I play this game?
I throw things in fear? No,
Yes.
I don't think so, because I think the great thing about Dying Light is that because it's based around parkour and action, you'll spend a lot of your time like trying to figure out how to get around, be mobile, how to avoid enemies. And the more you play, and the more parkour points that you unlock, then you can add new abilities that give you a better fighting chance against the zombies. Usually, I hardly ever died from. I rarely ever died from an actual zombie encounter. The humans are much worse. They're much more deadly than the human.
Accurate.
Yeah, and yes, accurate, but also they're just more skilled. They're more dangerous, and they attack you in packs. So while zombies most of the zombies tend to be more like shuffling idiots, or they're really powerful, but you can lose them if you run fast enough. But I find that like the combat is a lot more intense because of all these new abilities that you have, and they changed around some of the controls that it takes a little getting used to. I actually use the Xbox Elite controller, so because of that, I was able to pretty much work the controls into similar to how I'd play other games like Halo or whatever. So it's not too much of a leap, but I think that it may be a slight challenge for people who normally play on a pad. I didn't mess around with the standard customizations, but anyway, once you've got a control scheme that you like, I think that you'll find that dealing with zombies and so on, really not that difficult. The tough part actually is where I found myself dying a lot was just falling off of buildings. Like just not making it, or not because I didn't make a jump, but more like I was being a fight, and then I would back up and literally like back up off the building,
move back to gain perspective and just eat it. Yeah,
right. Or there's
me in a nutshell.
And there's also a stamina system, right, that you have to upgrade. So kind of like Breath of the Wild, I guess. Like you can only climb so far, right, in the beginning, and then as you develop and upgrade, you gain more stamina, or you can put more points towards stamina that'll allow you to climb, run, dodge, and do all that stuff longer, and then you'll die less. So
it makes sense.
Yeah. So
work at it, you'll get better.
Yeah, but I mean, I really do enjoy the game.
When did you end up scoring it?
I ended up scoring it with a 9. I actually wanted to be more critical and give it an 8.5, because I did have a couple of gripes with things like the combat felt a little more stiff. But I think over the course, but I was actually wrong about that. I think it was just that over the course of writing the review, I started to realize, wait, I think I understand why they did this. Like the first Dying Light, which is kind of like what made it hard to kind of review this game for me, was just that the first Dying Light was a lot more loosey-goosey. It didn't, when you jump and vault off of someone and then do a flying kick into another guy, right? It was a lot more like anything goes. You might whiff the move. You might glance them and they go flying in a totally different direction than you thought they would, or whatever. Well, in Dying Light 2, you'll do a vault, and literally if you execute the move correctly, you will literally you're literally sucked towards them. So it's a little bit more like, I don't know how to describe it. The best way I can describe it is like, it's kind of like Halo when you're playing with the plasma sword and you get within range of striking, and then suddenly you just get pulled right towards them and hit them. It's almost guaranteed that you're going to hit them.
It's like a quick time event, but it's not. It's
kind of like
you're like in there.
Kind of like that. And I'm thinking, like, does that really work? I mean, is that really the way they should have gone? But when you're constantly being attacked by multiple people, and you kind of want to make sure that, hey, I'm actually going to hit this guy that I'm flying towards, because if I don't, I'm going to fly right off the side of the building. Yeah. So yeah, I think overall the gripes that I had in the beginning actually kind of melted away as I got through the rest of the review, and I felt like, no, actually, I think this really does deserve a 9. I think it really does stand tall, right? And the game's massive. The game is absolutely massive. I couldn't believe how many places, how many buildings you can go in and rummage around.
I love rummaging in games
for looting and things like that. It's great once you get things like the tools like the paraglider, right? And you can start, which also relies on stamina. That's the big thing, is that when you paraglide, right, you can't just float forever. You have to be watching your stamina and say, how long can I hold on to this thing before I lose control of it? So once I got hang of that, I stopped dying. I stopped falling out of the sky and dying.
This game sounds like I'm going to throw it because I'm frustrated game.
No, it's very much like it's like the first game became more of a meaty action RPG.
That's
really what I would call this, even more than the first one was. And if you like that, you're gonna love this game.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
All right.
Yeah, and you can read the full review at cgmagonline.com, where it gets the full impressions there.
And we're giving away a copy on Twitter right now. Between
do I got to retweet? Is that how I win?
You do. You've got to retweet, share, like, and comment your favorite survival horror. I believe was the stipulation.
Nice.
Yeah,
so that'll be drawn tomorrow, so that they can dive in.
Nice.
And Brendan, you had a TV review, right?
Yeah, I did that a while ago, so I don't remember much about it. But it was cool. It was
the death glare from Dayna is
the LG C1 OLED. It is freakishly thin. I was like taking it out of the package. It's weirdly heavy for how thin it is, but that's all the metal and stuff that supports it. But you're talking, this thing is only about under a centimeter thick at its thinnest point. So it's thinner than a laptop. It feels ridiculously thin. And it has this base that is the most complex base I've seen on a TV, because it has this front thing and a back thing just to make it so it can stay upright but still be thin and look really sleek in a desktop or any kind of media center. It's ludicrously expensive, but games like, I tried some Dark Souls on it. I tried some classic survival horror games. I tried a few different things to see how well the light levels and the dark levels worked. And it is striking how, compared to an LCD TV, how well the blacks look, how well like dark scenes look, especially considering how on most TVs you'll get nowadays, black is kind of a dark gray. On this, it's true black. It is nothing. And seeing how well that does work in a TV this size is just fantastic. If you can afford it, it's great. And it has great, it works amazing with games. It works amazing with all the streaming services. And it has that WebOS interface that is, I like better than a lot of the like Roku's and things like that. So I really did like that part. But it really has to be in your budget to kind of go spend over $1,000 on a TV. And if it is, you'll be rewarded for it. But it is kind of, it's an investment.
There you go.
Yeah. How much was it again?
I think it was 1,500.
Oh, okay.
Yikes.
Strangely, that doesn't seem too bad. No, I used to work at a Sony store like for several years, like probably around the time that I met you, Brendan, I think. And back then I was like willing to spend like up to $1,000 for a TV, and I remember most TVs were like, I mean, of course, we're talking about completely different technology at this point, but I was thinking it was going to be more. So
$14.99, yeah.
$14.99. That doesn't seem that bad. Yeah.
How many? Is it like a 4K TV?
It's 4K, 120 hertz OLED.
Cool. Yeah, I just remember going to, I think it was Samsung, and they had like their 8K TVs that they were on display, and they were saying the prices, and they were like, this one's 15 grand, and it was like, oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, it looked really nice, but you know.
I don't need a TV that bad.
No one needs 8K yet.
Yeah.
I feel like I bought my first TV like in 2007 when I started living like alone for about $1,000, and that was nowhere near the quality of this thing. So
no, I think prices have come down
retrospect.
Yeah, like my kid just broke one of our TVs. It wasn't quite that big, but we bought another one for like $150. Mind you, again, not quite that big, but still a decent sized TV. So I mean, you can get normal human regular TVs for $500-600 now.
Yeah.
So
you definitely now my past self is feeling cheated for having spent $1,000 on that piece of crap TV.
Should have waited.
Should have waited 10 years and bought. Could have turned that like into a nest egg. Yeah, that would have been great. So yeah, Dayna, you wanted to talk about the CGM top and worst rated 2021 features that ran this week. You did.
They did run this week. I will talk about them gently because they're not short. So I think yesterday came out our perfect 10s of 2021. So we just went through our lists of everything throughout the year that got a 10 out of 10, which doesn't happen a whole lot. We had a few movies. So there was In the Heights, Spider-Man No Way Home, The Unforgivable, Arcane Act 3. Well, I guess that's technically a show, but that kind of stuff. Our games were Tetris Effect Connected, Age of Empires 4. Look at me reading Nomen Ruminals. That kind of time. And if Jordan's still here somewhere, Chicory, Colorful Tale. And then our tech was the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus, the Herman Miller Logitech G Embody chair that Lindsay loved, our DJI motion controller, and the Oculus Quest 2. So those are the only 10 out of 10s we gave last year. That sounds weird.
That does sound weird.
Our worst rated is a longer list that I will not go through. The rules, originally it was like anything under a 6, and then that list got real serious. So I think we went with anything under a 5. The worst game by far was Balan Wonderland. Wonderworld. See, the line in it says, which isn't called Balan Wonderland, by the way, even though that's a far better name, and I called it that anyway. So, the final thoughts there were Balan Wonderworld is just plain bad. Apart from its terrible costume system, it does nothing new and poorly copies things other 3D platformers have already done better.
I love a good Jed review.
2 out of 10.
That's the only Jed review I've seen since I've been at CGM, and it was delightful.
Well, wasn't GTA remastered a 2.5? So close, right?
But that was this year,
why isn't that there? I don't know why that isn't there.
Came out after?
No.
Yeah, it was December. Anyways, that's 3.5. That's pretty close. At least Balan Wonderworld tried to be original. Well, I think, anyways, in theory, they tried to just half original. Yeah. Didn't just slap a GTA 3 AI upscaler and call it a day.
Chris, actually, you have our worst tech. You and we have a few that are tied, actually. With the TCL 20S smartphone. That you
it's a phone.
4.
It's a phone.
But it doesn't phone well, does it?
It doesn't phone special.
The TCL 20S has potential as an alternative to other Android devices, but ultimately fails to meet it.
I don't want to discourage them from trying. It's a good start, but it also just wasn't special. It's just the camera wasn't very good. It's just totally forgettable. I forgot I gave it a 4.
There you go. So. That actually tied with the GameSir F8 Pro Snow Gone. It's a phone controller, whatever the technical name for that is. So I was actually talking to Joe about this review, and this thing, the way that it cooled your phone, it literally got wet.
Ew.
Like there was condensation. He's like, my phone is wet. I feel that's bad.
Maybe his phone was leaking before. And then he just
what is leaking?
It's the 5G coming out.
The final thoughts there were the F8 Pro Snow Gone is an interesting but very limited idea.
Oh boy!
I hope to be on this list this year, so you know,
bring it.
Send us your bad stuff, guys.
Let's find
a real tour to send Alex.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, and then our worst movie was Dash Cam, which Brendan, I think you watched, didn't you?
Yeah, it's not good.
Lindsay reviewed it. It's not a happy review. One of the lines in the review is, she boards a plane to the UK and comes in like a wrecking ball to her friend's house, cracking wise about Black Lives Matter and feminazis.
Oh, we talked about this one. Yeah. This sounds like a real train wreck.
Yeah, so that was our worst movie of the year. There are plenty more, especially movies. We were mad at some movies this year.
That's fair.
So definitely go check that out. It was fun to read. It was fun to write that. It was fun to go back through a year, even before me, and see how mad everybody was about stuff.
To answer your question from the chat, would I be better off with the Nokia that I had when I was 18 that played Snake and nothing else? Probably. I would pick the Snake for nostalgia over the TCL.
I thought you were happy then, Chris. So that's yeah.
That takes me back. Actually, that was simpler.
Yeah, that's also true. Another good comment. The phone was working so hard it was sweating. So it's like the iPhones don't sweat, the Samsungs don't sweat because they're not giving it all.
Yeah, no, they're not. So in it to win it.
Change your score, Chris.
Yeah. I should go back. It's not fair. You're right. Yeah, that was too harsh. That's kind of it for our official reviews, but we'd like to talk a little bit about the other stuff we're playing just beyond the topical games of the week. And Alex, I think you and I were playing the same thing this week.
Bomberman.
I'm trying to make this work.
Bomberman.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, I screwed up on you. Yes.
Sabotage.
We'll let you two chat.
Yeah.
So yeah, go tell me what you thought about it. Actually, you can go.
So I'm pretty early on. I'm like, it's probably three or so hours in. I have friends in a Discord who's like, I got one Pokemon left, and then I can have all the Pokedex. I'm like, oh my god, I just got out of it. But I like it because we've had mainline Pokemon games have been the same for a long time now. And like, you know, sometimes they change stuff, like when the Sun and Moon did, like, they're doing the 4 islands instead of the gyms, which was really cool. Sword and Shield did a bit of open worldy kind of areas. But this one was the real first one in a while that's actually felt different. And that wasn't, it is a spin-off, but it's not like a Pokken tournament where it loses the core of Pokemon, which is catching them all. And that's what this game is. And I think that that's what, for me, is the most exciting part of Pokemon. It's why I liked Pokemon Go at the beginning, where it was just like, hey, get out there, catch some cute Pokemon and do it. And yeah, Arceus is really cool.
Yeah, that's a great point, actually. Like, this is the first one to really like experiment but stay within the formula without like staying too close to what already worked and is getting stale or veering off entirely to a different genre like Pokken Tournament. Yeah, I really like the whole, it's a really seamless open world game in itself too. Like I like how you just move instantly from capturing to fighting to, like, it's just all seamless. No big transitions or anything like that. You move around in the battles, so it's like you're fully immersed in the open world. I'm pretty early on too, actually. I probably sunk about 4 or 5 hours into it, but I'm also taking my time and like trying to fill some Pokedex entries.
It's cool. Like in a battle, you were saying, like, it's like a regular Pokemon battle, but it's happening like in front of you, and you can move around while it's happening. So it's just like another layer of.
I do that in Pokemon Go. There's a swipe.
Yeah. But you can like walk around and like stand behind the Pokemon you're fighting and like not crouch, but like move side to side as your Pokemon's like beating it up, and it's cool, and it's like very Pokemon. It's not like doing things that are like, oh my god, I can't believe this. It's like you're catching Pokemon, you're completing the first Pokedex, and it's nice to sort of go to this different region, because I mean Pokemon games do go to different regions, where we got like the UK one in Sword and Shield and some different ones inspired, but this is it's really cool. It's not ugly, it's not like gorgeous or anything. It's not like, you're not going to be like, oh my god, Breath of the Wild, even though it definitely takes some inspiration in the visuals there. But I don't know, it's a cool game, it's a fun game, and I think that's what is most important with it.
People are really ragging on the graphics and stuff, and it's fair to a point, but it's also not what Pokemon's ever really been about. Like, it's never been about, you know, the sharpest graphics. Like, if you look at the first gen games, they haven't aged particularly well. Sprites are very limited and stuff like that, so it's always been a bit about leaving things to your imagination, I have always thought. So yeah, it doesn't need to be super 4K trying to milk every ounce of processing power out of the Switch, right? Like, it does what it does very well. I think I can look past the graphics, and there are some generally beautiful like vistas and things too. Like, what's there is designed well, even if it's not the most powerful graphics engine. So yeah, it's really not taking anything away from it.
I need to watch some more of it. Chris, you gonna stream some more? Because I feel like I need to watch some more of it before I decide. I want it.
The first hour and a half is like really basic tutorial stuff, and it like kind of takes momentum.
Is it just like run around?
No, it's like, oh look, there's 3 Pokemon starters. You should catch them. Now we're gonna walk over here.
No, I mean the whole game, not just the tutorial.
Oh yeah. Sorry, what's the
That's very exciting.
Yeah.
Well, like, once you get into the game past the tutorial, because that's all I really saw from when Chris was playing it.
So the actual game is a lot more fun, and it is kind of like you are completing a Pokedex, and you don't just catch all the Pokemon. You have to like do missions where like, oh, you got to catch like 10 of this one, or like a bunch of these big ones. So there's a bit of like a checklist thing to it. But once you get out of the tutorial, at least for me, I forgot about that, and I was just like, oh my god, it's a Pokemon, I'm gonna catch it, kind of thing. So
yeah, I kind of had a similar moment where I was like, oh yeah, missions are a thing I should be doing. Yeah, the Pokedex thing is neat, in that each one has its own list of things to do. So like, you might have to watch this one do X move Y number of times. Like Driftblim, the one ghost balloon looking Pokemon, has a special thing that's tied to a mission where you have to like go do one of these missions for one of the townspeople to fill in the Pokedex.
Yeah.
Yeah, I really do feel that this will be a really good onboarding point for people who either don't play Pokemon to begin with, or people who have lapsed from the series. It's really accessible in the open world way, and it doesn't have the same stale trappings, right? Like it's not go do the gym thing. It's like, no, you have to go. There's a story to do that actually means something, and there's your Pokédex rating kind of increases like a badge would have the same effect, or has the same effect that a badge would have, where like you can't control any Pokemon until you've like had until your research level is high enough to like match the level. Yeah. So like I'm at like the 3rd badge, so I can control up to like level 40, the same way it would be with like getting 3 badges. It's a more holistic and like different take without being, again, too different, right? Cool. Just different enough.
Yeah.
I've been playing a little bit on. I also wanted to shout out the Hori Split Pad Pro. This monstrous.
Oh, okay.
Khari's here.
I'm always a sucker for these things. So like, please tell me about this. Is it for the Switch?
This is for the Switch. Okay. I've got it on my OLED. That makes a big difference. It does work on both models. It's a nice grip. Like it's. Yeah. I think I joked last week that it feels like a Switch deck, or like a Steam deck, Furry and Slip. It's a hefty boy. And again, I've got big hands and stuff, so it's probably. This could be a problem for smaller hand gamers, but no, it's much more comfortable and ergonomic, I feel. A bit of a pain to put on the dock when these are on, because it isn't quite like they're just big enough. Right? They got this like overhang. It does cause a bit of a problem with docking.
That sucks.
Which is unfortunate. So I just end up popping them off or whatever, right? Like I don't keep them on all the time. But I believe they cost almost as much as the Pro controller, which is like one of my favorite controllers of all time now. So this feels like a pretty solid investment for like how much I play mine in handheld mode, which is like 50-50. Yes. Hefty boy. Got a turbo button on there too, if that's something that suits your fancy. Haven't actually used it. Not sure how reliable it is.
So you can pull the button down and it just kind of keeps like as if you're pushing it a lot of times.
Oh, okay.
And back pedals as well. So highly recommend it if you play a lot of handhelds and want more ergonomic grip on it.
I kind of got something related to that. I don't know if any of you recognize what this is.
The Vita?
Is that a Vita? But
are we talking about the Vita again?
No, it's a Vita, but this is like a Hori grip.
Yeah.
The Vita, and I love this thing. Like, I mean, I don't play it that often, but it's like it's great for remote play because it actually allows you to use the touchscreen, like allows you to actually use some games that work with touchscreen areas.
Oh, nice.
Right? So you're not like having to like. I always hated the touchscreen on the Vita, but here it's like certain games it works a lot better. Yeah. You know, I mean, I've always had ever since I went to Japan, I've always had like a soft spot for like Hori products, you know. I mean, I got my fight commanders for like fighting games. I got like I must have a dozen like Hori products lying around, but just
so many options.
So when I saw that, I was just like, oh man, I don't want to buy a Switch, but I almost want to get that grip anyway.
They do good stuff for sure. I was actually curious about that grip when I was playing Vita more often, because again, I got big hands and the Vita was not the most ergonomic thing.
It really wasn't. You get claws after playing that thing.
Well, if anybody's worried, we have a lot of 8 gig PS Vita memory cards at the office.
Some still in package.
Those are expensive. Those Vita cards.
We found all kinds of fun Vita accessories this week.
Like mine corrupted on me and like wrecked my Final Fantasy 8 save in the Super Boss dungeon. So that's
bad game. It's okay.
Yeah. Oh, sir.
Well,
Alex is on mute.
My wife's going to Japan soon. Maybe I can consider buying another Vita and so I can buy one of those cards off of you.
There you go.
Hey, they're around. They're around in your local game store. I was in mine recently and saw someone.
The game cards, the system itself.
Game cards.
Like the system itself, yeah.
Oh, yeah. None of us are talking.
They're weird, but they're kind of hard to find nowadays.
The Vitas.
Depends. Yeah, there's ebbs and flows. Like my local store had a couple this week when I popped in to grab something else. Yeah.
How much is the Vita?
Used ones or new ones? What used?
Used. Yeah. I don't remember how much they were selling them for though. It seemed like I remember thinking, oh, that's a decent price for a Vita. Yeah. But
apparently the PlayStation TV though is like $300. Like it's ridiculous.
I have one sitting in a box right now.
I got mine. Yeah, I got mine back there. It's like
they're weirdly expensive because they sold almost nothing. But I bought it when I bought the one for the office. It was for streaming and stuff like that, and I bought it for like $13 because it was on Walmart. Was
lucky you.
Out.
Yeah.
Lucky you. I got it on launch day, for crying out loud. I was ready to.
$100. It was $100 on launch, and then they quickly just dropped that price.
Yeah.
But then
there was a moment where EB Games was selling them for like $10 or something really cheap. And I was like, I should go out and grab one. I just never got around to doing it. And then I went to earnestly look for one, and they were like jumped up to $200. Like, well, maybe I'll not.
Really
I think it supported. I think the Vita TV. I know the Vita did, but the Vita TV I think also supported Netflix originally. And it was awesome. It was awesome then. It was like a little Netflix box, like gaming and Netflix box. And then they took that feature out. Yeah, so
they took it out of the Vita itself, and it was just the Vita. It was Vita firmware on there.
Yeah,
I've learned so much about the Vita since I met you humans.
It's a good system.
Never in my life. I think there's one in my house right now. I can join the club. Bring it.
I have a few, right? I think there's one over there.
Yeah, there's one sitting right beside us.
Yeah.
I
think I have 2 OLEDs and 1 LED version.
Yeah.
I was gonna grab mine, but
I have 4 switches at my house. So what? Come at me.
And does anyone else have anything else they've been playing recently?
I mean, Alex has the headphones he should talk about.
Oh, I'm wearing them.
Hey.
Yeah. No, it's yeah, they're interesting. They're like a $120 pair of Audio Technicas, and the one thing about them is they're super light. Like I normally have this heavy pair of.
Are we gonna do another wardrobe change? I don't think I'm ready for
no,
it.
No, of course not. But I normally have these heavy ones with the gamer ear flaps, and these are like super light. They're not like the bassiest things. The sound quality is okay, but they're pretty cheap. They look kind of nice. They got the Audio Technica flair, and yeah. I don't know, it's been like a day and a half, but so far it's
you have the closed back ones, right?
Yes, I have the Earth. I have the Earth, and Chris is going to be getting the Air, I believe.
I got mine
what they're called?
Yeah. Air, yeah. I'm initially really impressed with mine, actually. I'm not wearing mine right now.
Boo!
How impressed
I was testing them
Chris?
upstairs.
Yeah,
I was testing them on Fortnite last night, so yeah, no, I quite enjoy them, but like I think I'm more impressed with how they play music than how they play game audio. My first thing when I test a new piece of like audio hardware is to pull like my favorite songs, like pull a Spotify, pull like a playlist of favorite stuff, just pop that on, see how it sounds with something that I know intimately well. And I was really impressed. Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's on your anthem, and there you go.
I believe mine are more built for gaming, where it's like you're kind of like in it, and yours are more like letting sound out. So it's kind of might be better for music.
Definitely a less noise canceling headset, that's for sure. I could hear myself talking like pretty well, which I don't do on
do you like that?
There's probably circumstances, right? Like there's times where like if my wife's talking to me and I'm playing something, I can't hear her like talking to me until she's like in my peripheral, right? Like there are times, so there's other times where it's like you don't want that, right? Like yeah.
Like when I'm working from home and my husband's there and I have a 2-year-old screaming and I'm like, well, these are going on now. Goodbye, everyone.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Can't quite do that with the Air models, but different strokes for different folks.
Not for parents to drown out their kids. Got it.
Exactly. Yeah,
that's the subtitle.
And I've had Audio Technica ones that are like a bit more expensive, like $300 ones, and there's like I don't know. When I hear Audio Technica, I think more like it's like more expensive, but it's a pretty good low to mid range headphone. Is 120 mid range? I feel like that's mid range.
I don't know. You could go grab like a high-priced headset for $40.
Because I feel like low range is like you're under $100.
Jeez.
Yeah. But you have to remember the super high range. Like these are all these ones, and these are like 500. They could still consider these like mid range.
What about your Ferrari ones? This is the ones that were like the Ferrari.
The white ones. Those are like 900 or something like that. So
those are so comfy though. Like
I hate them.
For 900,
my least favorite headset on the planet. I believe I said here, stop wearing those because I don't like them.
But yeah, mine and Chris's review will come in the future because it hasn't been written yet. So
should launch them on the same day. There we go. Earth and Air.
Yeah, like one of us gives a 10 out of 10, one of us gives a 1 out of 10. Like,
there we go. We'll coordinate. We'll sync up. I'm curious about the other thing you put on the document here. Farming Simulator 19.
Yeah, I've just been playing Farming Simulator 19 with a friend. We opened a group farm.
Not 21 though.
Game Pass, the free one is 19.
Okay.
Kind of ties into that. But yes, you can create a farm. We didn't watch any tutorials. We spent an hour before we knew how to buy a farm. And then when we did buy a farm, we put it in the mountains where we had to drive like 20 minutes in game, like in real life, to get there with our tractors and stuff.
Yeah.
It's like you buy them at the store, then you got to take them up there, right? They don't deliver it for you. And then after like another 3 hours, we realized
Alex would not be streaming this on our CGM play.
It's so exciting. It's so much fun. It is wonderful. It's a fantastic game. And we learned after 3 hours that you can teleport between any vehicles you get instead of constantly bringing your tractors down the 20-minute road. So it's been better. We started with $1.5 million. We have $200,000 left, and we just finished
a lot of money.
We just finished our first job, which is a $6,000 job. So not looking great.
You're
but
on your way back up.
Yeah, it's been better every day. It's cool. Farming Simulator is really neat. It's got an esports scene. So
does it
I've
really?
tried that game.
It does. I mean, I don't know when the esports issue is coming, but it's in there as one of my top 5 esports to watch. So it's really cool. It's really intense too, and the commentary is like, highly recommend.
There are a lot of smiles coming out of you right now. I'm very curious.
It's wild. Yeah.
So it's not like Goat Simulator or the new one that we found through my press emails, Drug Dealer Simulator.
We haven't gotten to a part where you can either deal or receive drugs.
Okay. Let me know.
Fields,
that's how you get back your millions.
Plant all those poppies in the game, you're set.
It's the wrong kind of farm.
We're in so much.
There's a crossover event in the future.
Oh, there you go. Yeah.
Yeah. But if you don't subscribe to us now, I will play Farming Simulator 19 on stream. So just
there you go.
Beware.
Yeah.
Beware.
Live your lives.
For me, the thing that I'm going to jump back into probably this week once my top secret game is over is ESO. I'm getting ready for Legacy of the Bretons, so I want to go not have to spend half my review time trying to figure out how to play ESO again. So that's my next mission.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all I got.
Cool.
I've been playing a hell of a lot of Halo Infinite multiplayer. I didn't think this was going to happen, but it has essentially become my, I guess you could say, like my job game. Like previously, my job game was Hitman, right? So it's like Hitman 3, so every time that the one of those elusive targets would show up, like the ones where you only had a number of days to take him out, right? And you couldn't fail. If you fail, it's game over, and you lose a chance to get it. And I used to do that religiously. And then Halo comes along, and I got into the multiplayer. And what's so weird is that all the people that I thought I'd be playing the game with are flaky. Like they're flakes. Like I don't see them, right? I'm playing this game with randos all by myself, and normally I hate that. Normally it's like this is the kind of thing that makes me just rage quit, throw my controller out, and just say, well, what's the point? I'm not playing with anybody that I want to play with.
I have no friends I don't want to play.
I have no friends, and blah, blah, blah. Yeah. Like take my ball and go home. But for some reason, the whole battle pass and event thing, like the event chasing thing, just has me hooked. I'm constantly trying to get the new armor or this or that. I did spend a little bit on the cosmetics. I figured, like I said before, I didn't pay for the game, so here 343. Here's some money for you. But I really have gotten into like chasing the events every week. And what's amazing is that I know this shouldn't come as any surprise, but I'm playing this game. Yes, absolutely, Axeman 3384. I will play with you, man. Okay. But what I find was amazing is that I'm actually not bad at the game. Like I'm actually getting really good. There are times when I do.
So imagine if you had a coordinated team. You could...
Exactly. I feel like if I was with a team that communicated, it would be even better. But there are times where there's times where I'm just doing like stuff where I'm like, I'll finish a game and all the craziest shit will have just happened, and I'll be like, did I just do all that? Like there's got to be something wrong. Like there's got to be, maybe my auto aim's too high or whatever. But I have just been enjoying the heck out of it, and enjoying the heck out of it, tearing my hair out too. I mean, that's part of the problem, is that enjoying Halo also means like not enjoying it. But I've been getting into all the events. I hate attrition though. Attrition is a garbage mode. Get rid of it. I hate it. Fiesta, where you get random weapons every respawn, pretty good.
Fiesta's great, yeah.
Fiesta is fun, yeah.
Attrition, okay, if they take out power weapons, attrition's fine. But you get a rocket launcher, 3 people are dead, and you're like, well,
yeah.
I think attrition. What I hate about attrition is that you work so hard. Like most modes, if you're doing well and your team's rolling, right, you're gonna win. You're gonna win. You can feel it. But attrition, so many times you're ahead of the pack. You're in the lead. You've got them down to one guy, and then all of a sudden, someone takes their eye off the ball, and suddenly they've revived their entire team. They roll on you, and you're dead.
Yeah, attrition's cool because and frustrating.
That's part of the. I mean, it's part of the whole appeal of it, but it's also why I hate it.
Yeah, so, it's the shared life pool, and then once your lives are gone, your players die for real, but they can be revived, kind of thing. So it's like it's a cool concept, I think, but just not really works.
It must be
power weapons suck. Yeah, they really throw it off,
That's
and
true.
the vehicles too. Like I kept running into matches where someone would grab the turret on the Warthog or whatever on the side of the map, just spam the entire match, and it actually worked, which is the frustrating thing.
Yeah. I mean, I think there are times if you plan ahead, I shouldn't say if you plan ahead, but I find that a lot of those situations can be overcome if you know where that weapon is that you can use to counter it. Right, because a lot more. That's what to Halo Infinite multiplayers like credit. There are many more weapons now in the game that can counter problems that you couldn't solve before. So, for example, even that crummy what is it again? The electrical pistol, right? A few shots of that, and you can disable a vehicle with it. But you have to be careful. Like obviously you can't approach a wraith running across open ground with your pistol shooting at it. You're going to get killed before you even get close. But if you plan it, it works. I'm not going to get into the whole strategy of it all, but I just I adore the game for that. But yeah, I do realize there are times when it can be really frustrating, especially on that what's that map, Behemoth, that everybody hates. Yeah. So
there's always that map that everybody hates in any game, in any
I like it, but
World I like it, but PvP, there's I think it's Altering Valley or something. There's always something everybody hates.
Well, apparently they removed it. Bungie themselves removed it from certain playlists because
interesting.
Yeah,
there's also not a lot of maps in
the flag. It didn't work well for Capture the Flag, so they removed it from there. I don't know if they're ever going to bring it back, but
maybe I'll put Halo.
Halo's fun.
That one night, bringing Dayna into Halo for the first time as an Xbox player, never having played Halo.
Let's do
it. We should stream that one. The four of us,
Yeah. I'll have to mute myself though. I'm not reasonable. No, not because of you. I get mad at myself. I get so mad.
The whole stream is just Khari.
I hate it when we lose, I hate it when we lose, and I'm the final kill.
Oh.
I'm the difference. I'm the one. I should have just hid in the corner and just stayed there. And we.
That's a responsibility.
No, that's great.
Halo's fun.
I'm surprised how much I enjoyed it as well. But so there's something to it. I haven't put my finger on it yet, but there's something to it.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's gonna do it for us for this week. Thank you for joining us, those of you in the chat, and also those listening to the recording on your podcast service of choice. Thank you for joining us as always. If you'd like to read more on these topics and more, you can find full coverage at cgmagonline.com. Be sure to follow CG Magazine on all the socials. Just search for CG Mag and you'll find us. And if you have any questions or comments, please send them to podcast@cgmagonline.com and we'll be happily address them on the air. Khari, thanks for joining us. Where can people find you?
Right now, nowhere other than on CG. I'm still kind of getting my whole content creator thing going. So I'm still working on the tech. Or figuring out.
You can find him here. And then we'll
tell you
where to go.
Yeah. Right.
If you get a job at CG Magazine, you can talk to him in Slack. So
yeah.
There you go. Yeah. There you go.
Good point. All right.
Alex, where will find you?
You can find me on social media at Alex Hansiuk and sometimes around some places. Yeah.
Accurate and descriptive.
Thank you.
Dayna.
Local watering hole. You can find me at the Dayna Eileen. So DAYNAEILEE because I don't know how to spell my name. And that is in most places. That's here on Twitch, Twitter, Instagram. I think that's it. Maybe TikTok. I don't recommend going there. It's a scary place.
Yeah. I don't know either. And Brian.
B526 and everything. I'm even on Twitch, but I don't ever stream. So
until next week, catch us for stream.
Creepy things from his house.
Not even here on CG Magazine on Twitch.tv. But where again you can we're streaming more game stuff these days, so be sure to tune in.
Now that we're affiliates.
We hit affiliate. So watch for more game streams. Otherwise, you can find me on Twitter at Hoogathy. That's HOOGATHY, as well as here on Twitch on my own channel, which is Guild2Taps. So yeah, for everybody here at CG Mag, thank you for tuning in and for listening and rating, and we'll catch you next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
See ya.